What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, former unified three-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion Superstar Bassa, who was widely considered by many to be top two, if not number one, definitely top five pound for pound best fighters in the world, and Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. dared to be great. And when he dared to be great, he is now 28 wins, one loss, circle one loss, no draws, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. Errol Spence, he dared to be great. He bet on himself. He was very confident in himself. And he took on undefeated, three-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, now the undisputed welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the number one best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Crawford has a record of now 40 wins, no loss and no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 674-inch arm reach. With that said, Errol Spence, he bet on himself. He had some major setbacks in his life. He suffered a horrific car accident just 10 days after unifying the belts against two-time welterweight world champion Superstar Bassa, now retired future Hall of Famer, and Showtime Sean Porter. He suffered that October of 2019. But September 28th of 2019, he unified the belts against Sean Porter, suffered that horrific car accident, was out the ring for 14 months. He came back, he beat two-division world champion Puerto Rican Superstar Bassa, Danny Swift Garcia, after a 14-month layoff. Dominated Danny Garcia, nearly broke his left orbital bone. Then Errol Spence was going into the biggest fight, the most prestigious fight of his career. Okay, the biggest marquee fight of his career against legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar Bassa, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, August 21st of 2021. And then just 2 weeks before the fight, Errol Spence suffered a broken or detached retina that saw him removed from the fight. He had to be removed from the fight. So with that said, Errol Spence was out the ring for another year. Now, Yordenis Ugas, Cuban star, welterweight, former WBA world champion, filled in for Errol Spence and dominated Manny Pacquiao. That was a win that Errol Spence was supposed to have, that feather in his cap, and he missed out on that opportunity. And then Errol Spence, he came back. April 16th, 2022, Dallas, Texas, AT&T Cowboy Stadium, unified the belts against Yordenis Ugas, stopped Yordenis Ugas in the 10th round, broke his ribs, nose, and orbital bone to become the three-belt world champion, welterweight world champion. So with that said, Errol Spence missed out on big opportunities, right? And here, Errol Spence dared to be great. And he found out how it feels to be on the other side of the pendulum. As he stated in the all-access epilogue, you can hear Errol Spence says, so this is how it feels to be on the wrong side of the decision, right? And being dominated and being beat up, because he's used to doing all the beating up, right? And so this time, Errol Spence was out the ring again for a year. Then he faced a guy that was on his level, that was going to stand his ground, that was just as superior and just as dominant and just as skilled as he was, in Terence Bud Crawford. Okay, and Terence Crawford, he absolutely dominated Errol Spence. He won every round from the first round on. He dropped Errol Spence in the second round. He dropped Errol Spence twice in the 7th round. And then he stopped Errol Spence in the 9th round. And he battered Errol Spence. And so Errol Spence said, this is how it feels to be on this side of the beating. And then Errol Spence, he looked at his family. He hugged his mother. And he stated to his mother, I'm pissed. And she said, I know, it's okay. Then he looked at his wife and his kids, and he said, I got to get that back. And then he looked at his son, and he said, we going to get that back in blood, gang. Right? We got to get that back, gang. I'm going to get it back for you. So Errol Spence is motivated by his family. He's disappointed. He made up no excuses. And now he knows what it feels like to be on the other side. Now, many people are questioning, should Errol Spence even go into a rematch, seeing as though it was such a one-sided, dominant performance on the part of Terence Crawford. Errol Spence was dominated in every aspect of this fight. He had slower feet than Terence Crawford. He had slower hands than Terence Crawford. He had less power than Terence Crawford. His jab wasn't as good as Terence Crawford's, and it wasn't as powerful as Terence Crawford's. He had less head movement than Terence Crawford. He had less reaction time than Terence Crawford. And he had less punch resistance than Terence Crawford. And ultimately, the biggest factor in this entire equation is that Errol Spence, who was seen to be the natural bigger guy, started his career at 154, campaigned at 147, is a fundamentally gifted, technically sound southpaw who's a natural southpaw. Terence Crawford started his career at 130, became a champion at 135, 140, and 147. Undisputed at 140, and now undisputed at 147. But Terence Crawford was viewed to be the smaller guy. And in this fight, he proved to be anything but that. He was the stronger guy in this fight. He came out, Terence Crawford is seen to be somebody who's more versatile, more twitchy than Errol Spence. But Terence Crawford makes mistakes. Errol Spence is more fundamentally disciplined. Well, Terence Crawford turned that tide as well because he was more disciplined. Terence Crawford came out in the southpaw stance. He's naturally an orthodox right-hander. He never switched from right hand to right hand. He came out in southpaw and he stayed in southpaw and he dominated in the southpaw stance. As I told people, Terence Crawford is predominantly a southpaw. Terence Crawford has only went the distance now 3 times since becoming a world champion in 2014, beating Ricky Burns. That speaks volumes. And as he made his debut in the welterweight division, he has knocked out all 8 of his opponents in the welterweight division. Knockout or stopped all 8 of his opponents, including Errol Spence, Showtime Sean Porter, and Kell Brook. That speaks volumes. Terence Crawford showed that he's on a completely different level. And now Errol Spence is saying that he wants this rematch at junior middleweight, 154. And he felt like, obviously, he was weight drained. And so he says, hopefully we get the rematch and we do it in 154 in December. Now, I don't know how that's going to work out because when you get stopped and knocked out, you usually have to be suspended for a period of time before they allow you to come back. But Errol Spence is looking to come back in December. They're contractually obligated to have a rematch. So we don't know if they're going to force him to come back in December. Allow him to come back in December or force him to be suspended for a period of time. Okay? So that's something that we have to figure out. But currently, as it stands, the Nevada Boxing Commission has only suspended Errol Spence until September, which is completely shocking because usually they give you a longer suspension, but he's only suspended until September. That can be a strong indication that they're going to allow him to fight in December in Las Vegas, okay? So with that said, Errol Spence has made a promise to his family that he's going to get this back. There was a fan that reached out to Errol Spence and told him, hey, I'm riding with you, win, lose, or draw, and we got to get this back. And Errol Spence said, oh, we're going to get it back, right? And he promised his family we're going to get it back in December. So usually the period of time that when you suffer a knockout like this is usually a longer suspension, but apparently the Boxing Commission has only suspended Errol Spence for 2 months. Well, not even for a month, okay? Well, actually, it's 2 months. They suspended him for 2 months because he fought Terence Crawford July 29th. You have August 29th, and he's suspended until September 28th, which gives him the clearance to fight in December. So that means he'll be able to start training camp October, November, and fight Terence Crawford in December. So expect an announcement in October for this fight or before. But definitely expect the announcement around that September time. Seeing as though he's suspended, he's going to have to wait. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But Errol Spence makes a promise to his family that he's getting his back in blood and he don't want this feeling no more. So let's see how it unfolds. And that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram and on Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Your boy Blue signing off. I'm gone. Peace.